now tuned in to Mind, Body, and Soul with Anet, where your hosts, Anet Harris, analyze intriguing life questions and concerns, such as, do Christians suffer from mental illness? Have you wondered why they act abnormal? Or you may ask, what is really going on in their minds? Do you need a net? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
Hey guys, welcome to another segment of Mind, Body, and Soul with Anet, brought to you by GetcaughtinANet Incorporated. We are so grateful that you are here with us on this afternoon. And I am glad and blessed to be here. Let me do this. Let me acknowledge the Lord in prayer. Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day that you have blessed us to see. We thank you for who you are. We thank you for how you are. Lord, we thank you for your love. I woke up today thinking about your love, the love of God. And I am so glad that you love me, oh God. And we ask that you would get the glory out of this session, everything we go to say and do in the name of Jesus, we pray. And the opening scripture that I always like to quote is the first part of Hosea 4:6. And it simply states, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. I don't want to be rejected by the Lord. I don't know about you. So I want to attain as much wisdom and knowledge as he wants me to while I'm here in this present world, to be able to do his will. And I always tell you, if you see my face around noon Central Standard Time on a Wednesday, then that means it's time for you to come on and get caught in the net. I am welcoming each and every one of you in. There are two ways that you can listen to us on today. I am on my Facebook page, Anet, Get Caught in Anet. So I appreciate when you do come into that live feed. Click that share button, click the share button. I always tell you, it costs you nothing to click that share button. And you are alerting individuals that we are on, and we don't want them to miss anything. Also, you will hear the audio portion of this segment presently right now on my YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and type in GetcaughtinANet Incorporated, you will hear this live video. At the end of the segment, we will upload the video portion. And a huge shout out to Wanda B over at Intellectual Radio. Thank you so much, sweetheart, for helping me out. Women rule, girls rule, you know, all that. Yeah. So we're women, you know, we're doing some things. We're producing, we're hosting, we're doing some things. I have a spoken word artist on here, spiritual lyricist, excuse me, should I say? But we're doing the thing. We're doing the thing. So you guys, when you come in, please make sure, do me a huge favor and say hi or something. That way I can acknowledge your name, because you know, Facebook is, you know, its own interesting kind of thing, you know, and sometimes it doesn't let me know who's on here unless you say hi. I do see you, Brandy, and thank you so much for watching. She says, hello there, ladies. And Beatrice is here. Yes, thank you, Dan. Thanks for coming in. Hey, oh, goodness. I know you do a different name on Facebook. You have Wasco Last on here. I know you. David. Yes. I had to get it. You know, sometimes we put different names on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, please click that share button. We are talking today. I have a beautiful guest here. You can see for yourself. Beautiful young woman of God. She's a sweetheart. And I don't only mean physical beauty. She has a beautiful heart. And if you have interacted with her on any level, whether it was on Facebook, you know, sometimes we find our friends on Facebook. And, you know, then when you actually meet them, you think you've known her for a while. But this young lady, she's such a sweetheart. I've known her since she was little. Grown into a beautiful young lady, and I'm grateful to God for that, because she's serious about what she does, and she's on the move. She's on the move. She is a new author now. Yeah. It took a minute. I've been waiting on that for a minute. But I guess she has too. But we want to talk today to author Anita Riddle, my spiritual lyricist, about the psychology of spoken word. And before we even jump into the subject, I do want to ask you, Anita, how are you doing on today?
I am blessed and highly favored, doing very well. Thanking God that I'm able to have this time to talk with you and your listeners and everything. This is a beautiful show, by the way, and I want to thank you just for the opportunity again. And
you are so sweet.
But I'm doing okay. I'm doing well.
Good. You're looking well.
Thank
and I put up the post, and so many different people were saying, okay, they really want to understand what we're talking about here on today.
Okay.
So we're gonna jump right into it. Again, guys, click the share button, and also you can tag people. You can tag people into the live feed, and then that way they will be alerted as well. Mother Night, I see you, my sweetie. I appreciate you. I love you so much. Thank you for joining us on today. You know, I have a wide range of viewers and listeners. I have the mothers of the church. I appreciate that they carried me. I have the young people. I have the different generation X and all that. So I am grateful because without you, I would be talking to myself every week. So thank you so much for coming in. Anita is from a very talented and anointed family, the Riddles, and I've been knowing them probably about 30 years now. Yeah, somewhere around there. I just made 54, guys. So yeah, it's probably about 30 years now. And I'm appreciative of being acquainted with them. A long list of pastors, preachers, musicians, authors, recording artists, and all of that. So, you know, we're grateful. And this young lady has found her niche, if you will, in the area of spoken word and poetry. The twist, I will say, with her that I really appreciate is that she really seeks God for what she pens, what she gives you verbally, and that's rare. Now, I was actually looking up, Anita, the origin of spoken word, if you will, and I'm not sure if you really know. Do you know an origin of it when it kind of started? I saw a little bit of information. Let's see here. Let me pull this up. What I had here.
Yes, I'm like interested to know what you got.
Right. Now, if I can find it, because I typed it in here. So let me see what I have here.
Okay.
Well, let me first start off with a definition that they had of spoken word. It has the spoken word refers to an oral poetic performance art that is based mainly on the poem as well as the performer's aesthetic qualities. Then it says it is a late 20th century continuation of an ancient oral artistic tradition that focuses on the aesthetics of recitation and wordplay, such as the performer's live intonation and voice inflection. Spoken word is a catch-all term that includes any kind of poetry recited aloud, including poetry readings, poetry slams, jazz poetry, hip hop music, and it can include comedy routines and prose monologues. It says, unlike written poetry, the poetic text takes its quality less from the visual aesthetics on a page, but depends more on phona aesthetics. I hope I pronounced that right, or the aesthetics of sound. So given that, because that gave when it kind of originated late 20th century. Okay, I can understand that. Do you agree with any of what I've just read?
Yes, I do. Actually, I can glean kind of from that, and that is pretty much what it is. Also, poetry and spoken word. Okay. On the just like you said, on the page, it's another meaning. It gives you a different take. But when you speak it out loud, like you'll go to different venues or spoken word nights or wherever you are. So it takes on a different meaning. For me, I am a shy person, I would say. And when I get behind a microphone to recite, then steps up the holy boldness. So it's like, okay, it takes on a different form. So you don't just see the letter, but you can feel it and you can interject your flow, and, you know, you can actually gauge your audience and know what they will kind of like feel and, you know, flow with. So it's that in a nutshell. And then one other thing. One other thing.
Go ahead.
One other thing I wanted to, I love the definition that Miss Corin West, she's a former Olympian, and she has a 501c3 out now, Poetry for Personal Power. But the way that she defined poetry was, poetry is like, it's a dense, concise form of communication that speaks to people's emotions as well as their intellect. So, see, I identify with that because it's like what you may not be able to say, you can, I mean, in layman's terms and whatever, you can relate with poetry, especially when you are hearing it from the source.
Ooh, I like that. Okay. Interesting. Now, why do you think spoken word poetry is important? I mean, you kind of said it a little bit, but why do you really think it's important? And what would be the primary goal of spoken word poetry in your mind?
In my mind and in my experience, spoken word poetry, the basis for the reasoning behind it is to, one, give a source of information, a source of encouragement, a source of just, you know, getting an understanding of who you are, and what is going on around us, life, what's going on around us. Just, it has a lot of different umbrellas. It's a, you know, a lot of things that can come under it or whatever. But for me, it is the segue to Christ. It's like, okay, it's the segue to how do I feel? How can I gauge Christ in order to get out of the situations that I may have gotten myself into, situations that I need encouragement to maintain in while I'm, you know, just different areas of life. You know, it's just a means of encouragement, a means of just, you know, just hearing the Lord's voice, you know.
Now, she talking today, y'all. I don't know if y'all understand I don't know if y'all picking up what she putting down. She's talking good. No, I like that. I like and appreciate that. Let's see. There was something else I was going to ask you real quick. Give me a second. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. There it is. Thank you, Spirit, Holy Spirit. Are there any spoken word artists that maybe you, when you, because I do want to talk about how you got into doing spoken word yourself or got into this field, but are there any spoken word artists that maybe you kind of looked at or maybe looked at how they actually perform and maybe you kind of patterned after them, you know, so to speak, or maybe you didn't pattern after them, but you just kind of, you know, like the way that they perform?
Absolutely. Two in particular. Of course, everyone gives it up to Maya Angelou because she was the queen. You know, she's just awesome. Still Our Eyes and different, I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings and different things, you know, different poems that she has that kind of are the like templates of kind of, you know, the poet, the poet, one of the African-American poet, you know, all races, you know what I'm saying? But also I was introduced to the poetry and the artistic of Zora Neale Hurst. She was an African-American poet, and she was actually an author as well. And she has some different, not only poetry and literary arts, but she has like this one short story, Sonny's Blues, and different kind of things like that. And they are stories, but they are intriguing and they like bring life to the page. Like you can't put it down. So it's like those two, I can actually say that I did enjoy coming up, especially in my formative poetry years, trying to, gauge it.
Right. Now, what was the second artist name?
That was Zora Neale Hurston.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Oh, yes.
Zora, Z-O-R-A?
Z-O-R-A, Neale, N-E-A-L. I believe there's an E on the bottom of that. But Hurston, H-U-R-S-T-O-N. Yeah.
Okay. My just a little insert here, maybe a little commercial break. My grandniece, her name is Zora. So that's what kind of intrigued me when you said that. I was like, oh, okay, Zora, all right now. Well, let's see here. Let's see here.
Love Zora.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, I'll have to look that up and maybe ask my my niece and my nephew. Maybe they, I don't know if they got that name from her or not. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, no, that's good stuff. So how long have you been writing, performing spoken word? When did this become a part of Anita?
Well, okay, so it became a part of me. I was actually in a Bible class. And of course, I acknowledge God first. I thank God. I acknowledge my pastor, Ricky Leonard Riddle. He preached a Bible class. He taught us, and in this teaching.
Wait, excuse me. You gave his whole government name, huh?
I'm sorry. I hope you don't mind, Pastor. No. But he preached, he taught us in Bible class, and he began to tell us to seek the Lord for our gifts and our callings and our purpose. Like, seek the Lord for what it is that you are meant here to do. So when I left that Bible class, I went home. And I began to seek the Lord, and I began to pray, and I began to ask the Lord, okay, Lord, why am I here? This is when I was 18 years old, baby, So
now.
Right. I said, Lord, what am I here for? What am I here to do? And I did understand that my life was different at that point. When I did ask him that, I did understand, okay, I don't do what everybody else they do. I don't go to the parties. I don't do this. I'm not, my appetite does not crave the things of the world. I know I'm different. So, okay, what is it? Because sometimes when you don't kind of relate to everyone, you kind of like question, like, okay, what is it? What is it? Like, what am I here to do? So the Lord, after my inquisition of his mind, if you will, he began to give me what it was through writing. So I had like a notebook, a composition book, if you will, and I began to write every day, love letters to God. It began to just be my heart's expression of things that I wanted him to instill, things that I wanted him to take from me, things that I wanted him to nurture and groom, and just the essence of who I was, and I just began to write every day. And it became love letters to God. And the love letters became a lyric. It became a melody as I kept, seeking his face and staying in his presence. And those were I could not express the love that I felt, the overshadowing of his, his infinite grace and mercy. And those times when he was introducing me to my gifts, it was just like, okay, yes, Lord, I hear it, I see it, and that's how it came about.
That sounds beautiful, though.
Yeah.
So, we're appreciative, of our spiritual leaders in directing us, to make sure that we know what we're supposed to do, and to find out, go talk to God. He ain't gonna bite you,
He's sweet.
But then, in that, so you found what area that, I don't want to say you're good in, but you found where I believe he wants you to be. If I can say it as simple as that. And, and I could imagine you're just talking about how sweet those times, how it was. And, and I think, well, I can probably say, the presence of God that you were feeling was also another indication that, this is what I want you to do. Absolutely. You were feeling his presence, you were feeling his love, and writing the love letter to the Lord. Yeah, we could talk about something like that all day.
Yes.
But again, him just putting his stamp of approval on it, I guess is what I want to say.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, you have really. I've seen your work. I've heard your work. She used to, back in the day, guys, I don't know if you remember or not, but she used to be my resident spiritual lyricist in the early years of Get Caught in the Net. And she would come into the show, and she would call in. I'm getting so many messages popping off right here, guys, so forgive me. I don't know if you guys hear the noise or not, but anyway. Okay, good. Well, let me ignore it then. Okay, my messages are going off. But anyway, she would come in, and what she would do was she would write according to whatever the subject of the day was. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget when I actually approached her about it. I had the Lord had given it to me. I had a dream. I don't know if you remember this or not, Anita. Remember, I had a dream that you were actually on my show reciting poetry. I don't know if it was on my show or something, but it was just like, it's not like I went to bed with you on my mind that night, but I know that the Lord, and I woke up that next morning and I called you. I don't know if you remember or not. I said, I believe the Lord has given this to me to ask you to be a part of Mind, Body, and Soul, and to come on and, showcase, I'm going to use that word lightly, your talent and show what God has been doing through you. And you're like, okay. And so it began. We're grateful here at Mind, Body, and Soul for the time that you did take out to share with us your beautiful, beautiful. I don't want to call it talent. How do I want to say this? Because it seems like talent is, I don't know, kind of lessening it.
Well, no, it's a gift from God. Whatever it is, it's His gift. So,
There we go. We'll use the word gift. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me do this. I'm going to recognize some more people that have come in, and I do appreciate all of you guys for coming in. Let's see, Trenda is on. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Some of the comments that I'm going to read is, let's see, phonoaesthetics. I have to know more about that. Yeah, Brandy, that kind of blew my mind. And there were some other terms that blew my mind as well, as I was kind of trying to do a little research for today's topic. And I'm gonna throw this other term, psycholinguistics. Have you guys heard of that? That's the psychology of language. Hey, I love that. Yeah. I'm such a psych nerd. Anyway, let's see. Trenda says holy boldness. I like that. Let's see. Elder Kevin McGee is on. And Elder Kevin McGee is, I think, our current spoken word artist on Mind, Body, and Soul. So he does have a spoken word for today that he wrote especially for you. So I want you to be able to hear that as well. Let's see. Brandy says spoken word can be very powerful when performed effectively. I agree. Yeah. I've been introduced to some ideas and thought patterns that I may not have received if someone just walked up to me and started sharing in conversation. Okay. Yeah, I can hear that. Yeah. Angie says beautiful gift. Yeah, Angie, you probably remember her from back in the day, don't you? Yeah. I know you remember Anita. Thanks for coming in, Angie. I appreciate you. That's my girl right there. All right, guys. So yeah, make sure you click that share button. Click the share button. We're talking about the psychology of poetry. If you guys have any questions or comments, you want to give some insight in on this, go ahead and throw it into the comment section. I'll be reading them, going back and forth as we're having this conversation on today. If you just want to encourage author Anita Riddle, please make sure you do that as well. We're going to also be talking about her book. And we're so excited that God has blessed her to pen this, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong now, your work is, it's in the National, what is it? Library, what is?
Oh, the Library of Congress. That's just the copyright. That's just the copyright.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So y'all can't take our stuff.
Okay? Right. Thank you.
I just wanted to let y'all know that, okay? But that's wisdom.
Yes.
That's wisdom to do it like that, because, you know, so many people snatch your stuff nowadays and making you think it's theirs. Like, okay, guys, please stop the madness, you know. But yeah, so no, this is good. Buddy Gill, I did see that you joined us. Thank you so much. Oh, Beatrice, thank you. She says she's working and listening, but she shared. I appreciate that. Thank you again so much. Let's see. Angie, oh, okay. She has a question for you. All right, well, let's go to this question. She says, has she found uninterrupted fulfillment as a writer and as a spoken word artist, or were there some challenges while navigating such an immense gift? I'm sorry, I probably butchered that question, but did you understand what
I understood? Okay. I understood. Well, see, my thing is that it was not a challenge, because I speak what I hear. And there were some times when the Lord would be giving me a poem, if you will, and I would hear a word that I'd never heard before. And it's like, okay, God, does this fit here? Like, and then you go to the dictionary and the thesaurus, you're like, oh, it does. Like, you know, so it's like, it's been, I would say, it's been very easy to actually hear and write and hear and speak. Even as I mentioned before, my shyness or whatever. But when I get that gift, the poetry, and when I get the microphone, or, you know, it's just like another Mimi. You know what I'm saying? It's another person, because it's like, it would be a struggle if I were doing it of my own strength. You know what I'm saying? So by it being his gift, and by you being always, you're supposed to always have your ears open, your life clean, so that you can hear, and so that nothing is interrupting your flow, his flow. You know, we're vessels, so we got to remain cleansed. We can be vessels of honor or vessels of dishonor. So I'm thinking, if I was like maybe a vessel of dishonor, maybe it would be a little struggle to hear and get my thoughts intertwined with what he's trying to say, or, you know, not be able to differentiate what the enemy is trying to project. You know what I'm saying? So it's a thing where the ease comes in knowing that it's him, and listening, having that ear to hear. I'd like to read this one quote out of Isaiah 50:4. And I'm sure you guys are acclimated with this verse. It says, the Lord God hath given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak a word in season to him that is weary. He wakeneth morning by morning. He wakeneth mine ear to hear as the learned. So this scripture, before I even had recollection of that this was in here, it's like, okay, I'm experiencing it. You know what I'm saying? And I thank God for that question, Sister Mims. I really do. And you know, it just it's just a God thing, I would say.
I like that. Definitely a God thing. Okay, yeah, that was a great question. Thanks for that wonderful response. Yeah, because it's interesting. And I know Angie, she's come across a lot of spoken word artists. Yes. You know, even in her field. You know, she's radio show host for many years, and she's featured. Yeah, she's featured so many different ones. So that was an awesome question, you know, to kind of make you think. Yeah. You know, when you get started in something like that, you know, how do you handle it? How do you deal with it? You know, she said, do you find uninterrupted fulfillment? Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Uninterrupted fulfillment, it's the fulfillment of it is just there. It's because my fulfillment comes in knowing that God chose me to bear a gift, you know, like poetry or spoken word, and chose me to say, hey, I want you to have this, and I want you to go before my people. Because the scripture comes to mind, my people perish for the lack of knowledge, as you said earlier on in the show. And it's like, okay, whatever he's giving me, it's something that he wants his people to know. So the fulfillment comes in knowing that you're being used, by God, the God of heaven, the God of earth, the God that parted the Red Sea and different things, opened blinded eyes. And it's like, okay, this God speaks to me. That's where my fulfillment comes in. It's like, uninterrupted. There's some challenges with regard to, if someone doesn't want to receive what he is saying, and then it's like, it's not really a challenge for me. It's like you could take that up with like the master, because if he gives me a poem, right, and it doesn't sit well, I mean, you could take that up with him. And I try always to, reflect back scripturally and different things like that. And you'll hear a lot of the Word of God, KJV, you know what I'm saying? That's the one that's the Bible that I read. Nothing wrong with the rest of them, but I'm used to the KJV version or whatever, but it's like, okay, it's a different thing than preaching and speaking spoken word, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, if you get a spoken word, you're not preaching on something or you're just preaching what, I'm saying what he gave you, basically. So,
okay.
But I'm not.
But then it still is similar to preaching.
Some people would say.
Yeah, some people would say, and some people probably wouldn't say it. But, like you said, you get your inspiration directly from the master. Yes. You're making sure that you're in tune. And that's what preachers should be doing. Amen. Making sure they're in tune and getting their message directly. There are just some similarities. How about we say it that way? And this is just a different way for you to get across to the masses, if you will, what God is trying to say and what he wants people to know. Mm-hmm. I do notice that a lot of what generation? Your generation, it seemed like they have migrated more so to spoken word, and that I noticed that probably back when you were doing spoken word on the show years ago. I started noticing different. I'm like, oh, okay, well maybe this is like their language, right? So to speak, and I love it, and there are some that may rap it, or just like even I gave that definition earlier. They're different, I guess genres, if you will, of spoken word and what they kind of focus on. And I'm like, okay, sometimes now the type of person that I am, and I know I've shared this with you before, to get my feelings out or to express myself, I have to pick up a pen or pencil and I have to write. Okay. That's the best way for me to get out what I'm feeling or maybe what it is I'm dealing with or what have you. Now, I'm not a spoken word. I don't go and I don't, read what I've written, but it's just for me. And, for someone, of your caliber or spoken word artist to be able to write down their innermost feelings or their innermost thoughts, but be able to share with others. I think that's absolutely wonderful. And I applaud you all that do that. I know that I know some spoken word artists that will share some poetry, if you will, with me. And I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. And then sometimes they're like, it's a true story. And I'm like, wow, okay. It's intriguing, to me to hear your heart. Right. I guess I can say it like that. Because sometimes when I'm listening real good, I'm hearing your heart. And maybe again, I'm relating that because that's what I do. I write it down, what's in my heart. Deidre says, I'm the same. I usually have to write it out to get it out. Yeah, you said it good. Minister Gloria, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you. Apostle Sabrina, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Thanks for coming in. Make sure you guys, again, click that share button when you come in. Buddy Gill says, I like that. His flow. It changes the perspective on the gift. Come on now. Man. You want to come in here and start preaching, buddy.
Yes.
But that is so true. Yeah. And it really helps you to put things into perspective as well.
Yeah.
Because, I always say, even with singing or whatever I'm doing, for the Lord, it ain't got nothing to do with me. It's all about him.
Yes,
it's all about him. And that should be our focus. So thank you for that comment. Brandy says here, not God, you gave this gift to me, but God, you gave this gift to me to share with your people. Okay. Oh, I got it. She did her little quotes. I hear you.
Yes, all right. I like that.
Yeah, to share.
Yes.
And that's what it should be about. We should want to be a witness and a help to others. And I love this route that you're taking to do just that. Cousin Eric, I do see you on. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. I love you, man. Again, click that share button. Click the share button. Can't say that enough. Let's see here. Let me read this one quote and ask you your thought. And then if you want, I want to, and she does have a book. Deidre says she can't wait to talk about your book. But she's excited about it, she says. Yeah, that's what she said. But let me read this quote. It says here, the psychologist, because we do want to talk about the psychology of spoken word, and we have been. The psychologist who keeps the soul in mind is closer in sensibility to the poet, even if he or she is not a poet. Ooh, I like this. Essentially, he or she is acknowledging that poetry is an art of the soul, something which has been addressed over the years. Now, I don't know what author wrote that, but that quote kind of blew my mind. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I like that because it's so integral with what it really is. And it speaks to you. It speaks to every area. Sometimes because it's so versatile, you can connect. You can connect with it, and it's like, okay, well, this speaks to me, and I could take this and I can move forward. I could take this and I can tell somebody else. It's true. It's a connection because we are spirit beings. We see each other every day. We're physical. We see the physical, whatever, but. We were created from the dust of the ground, and life was breathed in us through the breath of his nostrils. So we are spirit beings. God is a spirit. We can't see him, but he's a spirit. So, of course, we will have to identify and learn how to live and go about life spiritually. You know what I'm saying? Because we have to walk in the spirit. That's what he asks us to do. God asks us walk in the spirit. He gives us the outline to walk in the spirit so that we can maintain here, to walk in the spirit so that we can be abreast on knowing what's coming next, what he wants us to do, to walk in the spirit so that we can learn how to abstain from the sin of the flesh. So in that, it is a connection to soul. It is a connection because you can use this spoken word, you can use this poetry, and you can use it because of the fact that it speaks so much to your inner man. And you can take it and be able to be fulfilled by it and glean the knowledge that you would share with whoever else that you may be in contact with, or, just different things to help us, push us along the way. Like I said, it said in Isaiah, so I could speak a word in season to that weary soul, to him that is weary, so it does address that,
Okay. All right. Ooh, yeah. Y'all see she on fire today. She's on fire. Love it. I love it. Okay, let's see here. I did not read her bio that she sent me, but let me tell you a little bit about this beautiful young woman and talking about her book, her latest book. I absolutely love the title of this book. That title catches me in and of itself.
Yeah.
The Road We Must Travel. Now, wait, that's a CD.
Right.
Has that come out yet?
Yeah, my spoken word CD has been available on iTunes and Amazon and different iHeartRadio and different things, different online media streams since about 2019. So that's available for purchase, Google Play and all of that if you'd like to. I just basically surmised about 7 spoken word pieces and, it made it available for the public,
Right. Okay. Okay. Well, cool. I like that. Okay. So let's talk about this book. Now, it would seem that, I think you said spoken word back when you were 18, or realized that this is the area that, the Lord wants you to go into. So here we are, 2021. The book just came out this year, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How do we get to even wanting to write this book? Had you been planning on it for a while? Did you say, okay, I have enough spoken word, I put them in the Library of Congress. Should I put it all together in a book? How do we come about with even writing this book? Okay. We Must Travel.
So We Must Travel was birthed into my spirit upon receiving the gifts after I had, heard the Lord's voice. So many people around me, they say, you should put that in the book. You should put that in the book. And my uncle, which is my pastor, Ricky Riddle, he was writing a book as well during the time of me trying to do this. And, he has always been, to me, a very articulate and, person of wisdom that I looked at and I tried to glean from. And when I saw that, I remember reading his manuscript when I was really early on. And I was so blown away by his book until I was like, okay, wow, this is going to be awesome. This is awesome and everything like that. So, a compilation of that and hearing other people, what they would say. And but back then I accumulated so many poems and I have so many titles that God has given me. And I said, okay, there was one time a young lady, I had recited a poem, "You're More Than What You Think." And she came up to me and she said, oh, this blessed me so much. And they divulged, the information that they've been going through and things like that. And I'm like, God, let me not just sit on these 400 pieces I got, plus, but let me not just sit on it because God, people out here need it. What I may take not so much as lightly, but you have to put your feet to motion. When God is giving you a purpose and a vision, you can't just sit around and say, I'm going to wait until something happens for me to get it. No, baby, you got to get up. Where faith without works is dead. Get up, put your mind to it. And I published with Christian Faith this time, but this is not the only publishing contract that I had. I had a contract years ago with another publishing company, but I didn't agree to the terms. So I did not pursue. And then life happened. So I started working and I started doing different things. And, I kind of not put it on back burner because I still recited and did things and still wrote, but it kind of sat. You know what I'm saying? So I said, let me get this out. This is time. We got some downtime because we're in this pandemic. Yep. Let me go ahead and do the will of the Lord. And I thank God for that grace that he gave me, to go ahead and that strength to push this title because it's about a world. It's a world. I love people. I love God's people to my heart. I do. And if he's giving me something, I want to give it to him. It's not me. And I didn't come to this place just happenstance. I've gone through some things that has caused me to be humble. You know what I'm saying? And I've gone through some things that it's like, okay, I don't want, if I can stop a person from feeling this, let me go ahead and do it. So right. That's why I got it out. I'm sorry, okay. I don't mean to be.
No. And that's perfect, because then it ties back into what we were just saying about this. This is not about us. Yeah. That whoever that person was that inspired you to, okay, I need to put this out. Yeah. And sometimes that will be the catalyst a lot of times for us to, go ahead and do something that we had been either planning on or intending to do, if you will. So I'm grateful that you did. Listen, guys, I'm going to try and put in here the actual link.
Yeah.
So that you guys can go and make sure. Yes, she's showing a picture of it. Yeah. Let me see if I can show her.
Black.
That's beautiful. We Must Travel, everyone. This is the name of her latest book. I was going to say her latest book. Hey, we never know what's going to happen, Oh, yeah. All right, so here we go. We Must Travel. That is the cover. Anita Riddle is the author. And then here is the back cover. I hope you guys can see that. There we go. I love this on the back. Through the wisdom of God, author Anita Riddle. You got to give me an A for that, Anita. You see what I just did?
You did it good.
That's an insider, guys.
Perfect.
About that. Has written a compilation of anointed original spoken word pieces within this literary masterpiece. Using various topics, this book of poetry identifies with many, using this specific genre to reach a world in question. This book leads you back to the source. Hey, now, I love that. It gives you reason to seek the master's face again and go back to your first love. In a world uncertain, we must travel. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you for penning this. This is good. All right, guys, you can go to Amazon. Are there any other?
Absolutely. Yeah, they can go to Target.com. They can get it from BarnesandNoble.com, BooksAmillion.com, Amazon.com. And my publishing company is still in the works, working on my ebook creation. So it'll be audio version and things like that. It'll be an ebook soon. And then they'll do the press release. So, but right now, if you want to just hear it right now, you can go ahead to those different online streams and purchase it. And then if anybody would like for me to speak somewhere, you can also contact me as well. Yeah.
Come on. Okay, so to contact you directly, if they want you to come, and I say I have an event, I need to have you. I would love to have you come and do a spoken word. How do they contact you?
They can do it through. I have a book. I'm sorry. I have a page on Facebook.
Okay.
Author Anita Riddle, spiritual lyricist, and then you can book through there, or you can directly inbox my Facebook page, things like that, or hit me up on Insta. Yeah, Anita 921 on Instagram. But yeah.
Okay, so I'm typing, guys, as she's talking. I'm trying to go on here so that I can send you links in the comment section. I'm trying to do all this, okay, real quick. Tim says, proud of you, lady. Is that your uncle? That's your uncle? Wait, who's Tim Riddle? Who's Tim Riddle?
Oh, that's my Uncle Tim.
That's what I thought. I told you I've been knowing these riddles for years. I thought I knew it was somebody. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so on Facebook, they can go to what page is it? I see it. Author Anita Riddle, spiritual lyricist.
Yes.
So that would be the Facebook page that you can go on and you can book her. So guys, make sure I promise you will not be disappointed. This is a beautiful page here. You would not be disappointed in what you receive. I don't want to say in what you get, but I guess I could say that. You won't be disappointed. All right, so I'm going to put that link in there also, guys. So Amazon, Target for the book, some other ones she said that I don't
Barnes and Noble.
BarnesandNoble.com,
Books a Million, yeah.
Yeah, look, you would think I work for Amazon as much as I talk about Amazon.
Amazon is bomb.
Yeah. It's the bomb and the boss. Okay. Yes. All right. So let me jump on here. There was a question, and I don't want to overlook. Let's see here. Buddy Gill had a question, and I want to go back to it.
Mm-hmm.
That he had for you. Okay. I'm getting to it. I hope I didn't. Okay. Question, he says, I'm of the opinion that many of our songwriters or lyricists are actually unknown poets. Really? Have you given any thought to putting your poetry to music or creating a song?
Actually, I have thought about it. You know, a lot of people, some people, this is not the first time this question has been posed, actually. I have thought about it, and because my uncle is a songwriter too, it's like, you know, I would have to ask him about it, you know what I'm saying, and to see how you can do that. But I've never done it, but it's a point of interest for me. So,
okay.
You know, think about it in the near future.
So maybe you asking that question, but since she said it's not the first time she heard it, you know, kind of ignite something, you know, just like that other individual ignited this book, you know, you just never know, you know. So, all right. Okay, cool. All right.
I love your personality.
Oh, you're so sweet. You are so sweet. Yeah, but okay, now that's cool. That was a great question though, because you would kind of, you know, think about something like that, just like you said. Because people get origins, or they have origin for doing certain things through some kind of way. So that would actually stand to reason or make sense, you know, songwriters and lyricists, you know, spoken word artists, you know, all of that kind of goes in together there. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody else that's on here. Again, guys, if you have any questions or comments for our beautiful guest on today, make sure you throw it into the comments section. We're here on my Facebook page, GetcaughtinANet, Get Caught in a Net. And then if you go over to YouTube, the lovely Wanda B has placed our audio portion of this segment on my YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and type in Get Caught in Net Incorporated, you will hear us there. The video portion will be uploaded at the end of the show. I believe we can come to a time right now where I can ask you to maybe recite us some poetry that you would not mind us hearing on today.
Sure. Absolutely. I would like to, I wasn't prepared. I never like to just say, I'm going to say this, because I like for him to lead me. So the poem that I'm going to present to you today, again, is from the book, and it is entitled Save Me. It says, I'm humbled at thy word, Lord, I am stilled. Hold me up, lest I fall into temptation's sick thrill that lasts not long, but for a moment. These tear-stained cries bleed for atonement. Change the seasons, Lord. Change the times. Let me bask in the rivers of purity as my life rewinds to the place where I first believed. I'm running back to my first love on bended knees. You promised me heaven, and that's what I want to see. Not just a glimpse, not just a foretaste, but God, it's where my soul longs to be. I have to make it. Please see to it that I make it in. I may have to lose my mother, brother, or father, or maybe even my closest friend, but it doesn't matter as long as I have you. Cleanse the atmosphere, purge your floor, rest righteousness upon me like the dew. From the morning's rose, as I reflect back to the place and times where my visions and dreams gave confirmation that you were on the line. As I floated in my subliminal upon the clouds, singing hymns with the angels as they taught me how to enter into your courts with thanksgiving and praise. God, I want your perfect will for my life. God, I want to be saved. Purge me from my ways that are not pleasing to you. I come as humbly as I know how. God, have mercy and come through. You know my life. You know my frame. Hold me up lest I fall. Make me happy in you again. Thank you. Amen.
I can't slap my right. Y'all remember that, right? I can only slap my left. Love it, love it, love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you just do that with such ease. Now, do you go, I mean, I know we already talked about, you know, contacting you on your Facebook page if you, they want to book you, but do you go out a lot? Do you perform a lot? Now, I know we've had COVID, so maybe you talk pre-COVID or
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
I will do it. I'll be very cautious now, and again, I do recite every Sunday at church. But in the past, I've done reciting for, Pastor James Ford at his church. He had like a single seminar one time. And then I do weddings and funerals, different things. Also, I've been contracted with UMI for the past maybe 3 years. And the CEO, I believe, of that is Cherie Nolan, and that's my contact. She is a very great person, and she highlighted some of my poetry in the Urban Fate magazine, kind of like periodical that they have. And one of them, Mended Heart, is on their website, as well as another one that I did it's in the book as well, but it's different ones that they highlight, and we're working on something that is supposed to be coming out soon as well. But it's been a lot of different things that I do. I'm not the type of person and a lot of people say, well, why don't I know this? Why don't you? I'm not the type of person to toot my own horn. I just, and I have to get better with that, with making that gift known. You know what I'm saying? But, God does move. And I think that in the perfect time, it will happen and he will bring everything into fruition. But like I said, I just thank God for you and this opportunity to get this word out, so that people who need to hear this can hear it, glean from it, be encouraged by it, help them to go on, another day, because it's a lot of people going through out here. And it's not just catered to just the down and this, that, and the third. I got some hot topics in here too, you know what I'm saying, that speak to, different areas of life, you know what I'm saying? And if I have time allotted again, I will do another one. I love poem. But
okay.
That's it.
Oh, you just made me think about something. Brandy says you have a voice like velvet. I love that, Brandy. Yeah. Oh, I like that. That was sweet. I would agree.
Thank you.
You made me think about something. Now, okay. If I can say it like this, I know that you get download, if you will, from the Lord when you're writing and or preparing spoken word. Do you find, or have you found in all these years, that maybe there are certain times where the Lord will give you spoken word for a particular area, whether it is, I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out here. Like you guys probably saw at the beginning of the show where I just, I did, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So do you have like certain, I don't know if I can maybe say certain categories, maybe he will have you focus on children or something during a particular time frame or what have you. Do you find any of that, or is it just, he just downloads whatever and whenever?
Well, basically, to be honest with you, if I am about to have an event, or if I am going through something at a time, honestly, and if someone is confiding in me something, and I promise you, I will have written a poem years ago, but the words will spring up in my spirit and I will begin to speak that. And I have found that so powerful. Like really, like I wrote this like 2 years ago. I wrote this 10 years ago, whatever. But God is like, okay, this is the word that I have. And that's why it ties back into Isaiah 54, what I just read. A word in season, to speak, has anointed me, give me the tongue to learn to speak a word in season, to the weary and this, that, and the third. So for every, something that's coming up. So one time, just for an example, we were having a revival and they requested me to do a poem for the revival, right? So I said, okay, I'll do it. I'm gonna do this one, right? So I had it set. I'm gonna do this poem. I get right the day of and start hearing the words of a different poem, and I'm like, just out of the blue. So it's like, okay, it's definitely God-centered in what He wants, because it's it has to be that way, So that's how it comes up for me. Yep.
Okay. Let me ask you this. We've been talking about all the good and, and you're smooth and all that or whatever. So do you get to a point where you second guess yourself? Like you just gave the example of, you had written spoken word or a poem for revival. You get to the day of, and then you hear something else.
Yeah.
Do you struggle? You're like, wait a minute, but I already had this written. How, or do you just go with the flow? I mean, be honest, because sometimes we can doubt ourselves. They can ask me to lead a song. I get nervous every time I get up there. I'm like, I don't want it to be me, but go ahead.
Absolutely. I mean, that comes with the territory. It does. You want to do the right thing. Sometimes it could kind of be like, but I want to say this. But no, Nene, this is not the area, the audience for that. You got to say what I want you to say. So it is those times. You do face those times when you kind of have that conflict of interest, I would say. But it's like a battle, but it's like he always wins, so...
I like that. He always wins. No, but that's reality, and I'm sure you guys that are listening can fully understand that, because sometimes we're our worst enemy. Sometimes our biggest critic. We're constantly, are you sure? Should I do this? Maybe I should do it another way or whatever. But then sometimes it makes it a little bit easier if, say, you change and you did the fresh downloaded version or spoken word on that day. And then, you see the manifestation of it. People are really receiving it, whatever, or maybe somebody comes up to you afterwards or something. You're like, okay, yeah. Okay, God. Yeah. Right. But then there could be those times where you're like, okay, I hear you, God. I'll change. I'll do it this way. And then nothing. You get no response. You get nothing. Good. Okay. Talk to me, because right. No, tell me about that, because again, we're talking about the psychology of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then we want to know how it is reaching people, touching people, or is it? You know what I mean? So tell me about that. That time.
Okay, that one time. Seriously, honestly, it was like, okay, I thought that I would just say, because I knew it. It was in my memory. I knew it by heart. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to say this because I know this. I don't like to get up if I don't really have it memorized, Yeah. But, so I was like, okay. But see, you can tell it's supposed to flow from heart to heart, breast to breast. And you could kind of gauge when it does and when it does not. And so it's like, I hated that, because it's like, okay, it's something that I was supposed to say that would have touched that body and that soul, but it didn't. It didn't go over well because you didn't necessarily obey. You know what I'm saying? Or in so many words, seek God for the perfect title that you should have said. So it is those times of, flesh want to get in the way and do whatever, but you gotta obey. But you know what? I want to say this, and I know to some it may seem like, okay, this lady just talking about God this, God that, she, perfect. I got to this point because of the fact that there was there's a calling on your life, and when you're called, it's not going to be always easy. It's going to be a fight, y'all. I'm telling you the truth. When you got a calling on your life, there will be a mental fight, mental battle. There will be physical battles. There will be emotional things that come to try and hinder. But because of the fact that God shows himself strong in each of those areas in my life, in our lives, that's the one you glean to. That's the one you give glory to. In situations like this, like doing this show, maybe something like, okay, whatever, I'm just doing a show. No. When you have opportunity, you glorify God, and I will make myself a committee. I am going to glorify God wherever he takes me, wherever he takes this gift. It's because of him. It has nothing to do with Anita. It has everything to do with him, his timing, and his perfect will. And am I going to get fought because of that fact? Yes, because I take that stand. Yes. So you got to be bared up. You have to bear yourself up. You got to stay in the will and the presence of God. Of course you're going to get fought. Distractions are going to come, and I won't go into the detail, but everybody know what I'm talking about. I know my young ladies know what I'm talking about. Your men know what I'm talking about. Things come when you're purposed. You got stuff. Things come. People going, you know what I'm saying? They're going to try to discourage. They're going to and they're not going to always see your gift as a gift. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to take it as serious as you would. Some may take it lightly, but you got to keep going. You got to keep getting that strength from God. You got to, because I know so many people, and I watch your show, and I know that sometimes I read the comments, and there are so many intellectual people on your feed, and it's like, man, what's that word? Like, what I'm saying? You go back and you listen, but very intellectual, and the conversations that you all have are very engaging and mind engaging, and it's like, okay, I know that these people, these caliber of people, they have things. God has blessed them with this knowledge for several reasons. And if he has given me this gift of poetry, let me do what he is telling me to do so that those gifts can operate fluently. And you know what I'm saying? Because we're for each other. We need each other. We need from each other. Your outflow is my inflow and vice versa. So there it is.
I like that. Come on now. Look.
But that's all I wanted to say.
Keep flowing down. Your outflow is my inflow and vice versa. I love that. That could be the quote of the day.
Yeah.
Hashtag your outflow is my inflow. I love it. No, seriously, I love it. That's good stuff. Now, you did mention earlier about you say you do this every service, every Sunday?
They call me up every Sunday to do a poem.
Wow! So you actually have like a section of the service, and that's that's non-traditional, but I'm sure that it's something that has worked, obviously, for your church, and there may be other churches that do that as well. But no, I like that. I like that because it's still allowing you to get across what God has given you. Absolutely. And I'm sure there have been many a times, if not every time, it probably has coincided with the message. I don't know at what point you do it, but I'm sure it kind of coincides. Maybe it even helps that speaker or that preacher too. No, that's good. I love that. I've seen that like on our youth Sunday or something like that. But to have it every service, that's a good portion, something an add-on for your service.
I appreciate it. It's a good way for me to keep that gift flowing. I appreciate the opportunity for that.
Yeah, definitely.
In rotation, and I know that we've been in a pandemic, and not necessarily things have been opened up and things have been flowing but it keeps it current. It keeps it, okay, stay used to this because this is, where I have you and where you're going, different things like that. We had a trip scheduled this year to go to Tanzania, Africa, but due to whatever reason, when we got to the airport, we could not board, our whole entire, whatever. But I would have been able to recite there. I know. I would have to see your expression, but, my pastor, he was going to allow me some time and allot me some time to do some spoken word over there to our brothers and sisters of Tanzania, whom I love so much. They are so warm. They are so cordial. And before, we got there, one of the drivers, he inboxed me. He said, I'm going to be your driver. I was Pastor Rick's driver and this and the third. But the warmth that comes from them, it's just inspiring. So, but yeah, I thank God for him because it's like God allows him to, be a voice for me. And not only for me, I know there are several other people who, pull on them. But for me, it's like he's always available. And I thank God for that because it's like a shepherd, they watch for souls. Mm-hmm. And when you have a gift, they listen to the voice of God, a true shepherd now. They listen to the voice of God to cultivate that gift, to, keep it, in motion, to keep it. And that's what I thank God for, and I know y'all like, well, she keep talking about Pastor Rick, but that's my uncle. I mean, he's, he's been
who inspired you to even look.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
If they got a problem with it, y'all come see me. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's good. But no, that it's good to have that much confidence and faith in your spiritual leader, because too many times we see so much other stuff in leaders, if you will, that we wished we had not have seen. So it's okay for you to thank God for that. Brandy said, talking about she's not a preacher. Yeah, she was giving out that word, wasn't she? Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Brandy. But she's not the first one that says that. When I'm in conversation with some people, they're like, you need to be preaching. I'm like, preaching? I'm like, I'm not trying to, hold up tight. I mean, you know what I'm saying? God is good. I'll tell you what he's going to say, or what come out my spirit. But, I'm not, whatever God so chooses to do with me, my heart says amen. But
right.
I was in a relationship. One said, you need to be on the women's board, speaking and teaching, whatever. I'm like, I don't know.
Wow.
But, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So to date, you've written over how many? Did you say over 400?
I have over 400 pieces. Yeah. Yeah. I have a lot of poems. It's because I was counting at 400 back in 2010 or whatever, but I've written since then, so many. Okay. Yeah. But,
yeah. Ooh. All right.
It's a gift.
Is it a I don't want to say you get a feeling. Do you like get into a certain mode where you're about to get a download, or do you purposely set aside some time every day to hear from the Lord? How does it come about for you?
It's an inspiration. It's not necessary. I do not set aside time. No, I don't. But when he speaks, I listen and I write it down. And normally that's like early morning when he wants to talk to me and wants me to wake up and, listen and hear him and, hear my praise and different kind of things like that. And he'll interject and things like that. But when I can tell you guys this, when I'm facing something or facing some situation or whatever, I write then too. It's a lot of inspiration, like, daily inspiration, whatever I'm going through with maybe, or what someone else may be going through as well. So yeah, it's a double kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. All right. So mainly in the mornings is kind of when you get the inspiration to write or to create.
From him, when I'm getting the inspiration from him, of course, directly from him. But like I said, when it's me, in certain inspiration, certain things inspire. Yeah. Okay. So and that could be throughout the day. So it's not like pinpointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I see you sometimes on Facebook. I see these posts. I'm like, oh wow, okay, I like that. That's good stuff. That tells us who we're dealing with. We know what you're all about. You're all about that encouragement through that spoken word. If you, I got a couple of questions for you.
Yeah.
How would you encourage others to get into this area, whether or not you see it in them, or maybe it's young people or whatever, you're maybe trying to get them to find their niche, and we see that maybe this is an area that we think that they can be successful in. What would be your encouraging words to them, or would you how would you instruct them?
I would implore them to honestly read, honestly be real within themselves, be confident in their ability to speak what they feel, be confident, be agile enough in the spirit to listen to what God wants them to say and portray. Because anybody can be learned enough to read something and use their intellect to write something down, you know what I'm saying? But we want to be effective. We want to be, vessels that God can effectively use to do whatever he wants us to do in the season that he wants us to do it. So I implore those who would like to be writers, just be real within yourself, be earnest, and what you feeling, you know what I'm saying? You could write it down. Some experiences that we go through, and we often find that we don't go through them only for ourselves, just like we're not blessed only for ourselves. Some things that we go through, some heartbreak, some this, that, and the third, write it out. I'm not saying be whatever, but be you, but according to what God would agree to and adhere to, and as a good representation and reflection of him, of course, because we can get off the handle sometimes, but we don't want to do that. We want to glorify God in our gift. But I will always say and encourage you to glorify God in your gift, knowing that the knowledge only comes from God. Whatever we have here, it comes from God, and always give that glory back to God, because it's he'll keep you fresh, he'll keep you relevant, he'll keep it because it's him. And just when you know who you are and know whose you are, and I often say that, but those are two key elements in fulfilling purpose, knowing who you are and whose you are, because you will be faced with the counter of that. So people won't always agree with what you're saying. They won't always agree with who you are. They will fight you to the T or whatever. You're not this, you're not that. But when you know who you are and who you are, and you only going to get that from the Holy Spirit, from the Lord. So spend time with the Lord. Spend time in fasting and praying. Spend time in telling the Lord what's on your mind. Oftentimes, in my generation, we can get to a place where we feel like we can hide from God. We cannot hide from God. God sees, he has an all-seeing eye. And when you can be candid enough to be real before God, God can do exploits in you. We are not our own. We are entities that derive from the spiritual being. We are his. And when we know that, come into the knowledge of that reality, then we can do exploits. We can do what he wants us to do. We can say what he wants us to say, and we'll be fulfilled. It's not about competing. It's not about this is better than mine is better. I got to do this better than this one. No. How are you going to compete? A house divided against itself shall fall, right? So if you're competing against your sister and your brother, how is that edifying to the body or yourself? It then becomes rhetoric. So we want to be found in compliance to his will so that we can be edifiers. Like we want to give somebody something that they've never had before. Like when you have some good food, and by the way, I am going to make some more stuffed chicken tonight. People, you want to share, when you share it, and my niece is coming over and my sister, and I'm so happy about that or whatever. But anyway, sorry, sidebar. Okay. Love you.
That was an insider. We talked about food before. Right. Like, what are they talking about?
Right. But when you have something good, you want to share it.
Come on now.
You want them, oh, this is good. I just like, making a little analogy or whatever, but what you say, you want to help somebody. You want to be a purpose-filled entity displaying the will and working ways of God. The Bible speaks about Jesus and how that he was in this world, yet without sin, tempted, yet without sin. And if we are to do these things and greater shall ye do, that's what the word says, reflection of Christ. Be ye perfect as I am perfect. It's a walk. It's a way. We're not going to get there overnight. But let us strive to do that. Strive to be better people. You know what I'm saying? People, I've been, as they say, hated on. And I'm like, why are you hating on me? And I'm trying to help you. We have to get out of that mentality. It's not about us. It's not. And I've had employers, some say, well, you're not finna take my business. I'm like, ma'am, I'm trying to get my check, but,
on the money.
That's not it. No, but I know I got a little comical side too at times, but I'm really about the master and pleasing God's people. My grandmother, and I know you know her, and when she was here, that woman was golden. She taught us, man.
Yeah.
Callie Mae Riddle taught me to keep a pure heart. And she said, and Flo Ellen, my auntie B, she said, keep a pure heart. My Uncle Phil too. He taught me so much wisdom.
Yes.
But it's like when you can keep a pure heart, it's not going to be easy to do it. It's not going to be easy to turn the other cheek when somebody lied on you, talked about you, this and the third. But we have to be conduits of Christ. We have to be, just in his will. It's going to take some selling out for it, though.
Yes.
It's going to take them having to be separated from those. You're going to have to be scrutinized and ostracized and whatever, but it's all in knowing Christ and the fellowship of his suffering so that we can reign with him. If we don't suffer with him, we're not going to reign, And like I said before, I had mentioned there's a scripture in the Bible, Psalms 116:15. It says, precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. So if we know that precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints, how then more precious is it for us to die to our flesh, die to those things that will cause, complacency and just, we got to get right. It's not no sense in talking around things. This world is in a dilemma and has been because my people who are called by my name won't humble themselves, turn from their wicked ways. We need him to heal the land. We need him to hear. We need to hear from heaven. We need to hear voices that are uplifting God. We need to hear and we need to get it right. We need people that's going to tell us the truth. That's what we need. It's not going to always be received, but so I bet you I'm going to be in heaven though. I'm telling you the truth. God is good. And we fought, but it's okay. We fight the good fight of faith. We contend, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You in good number. You in great number. There's a great cloud of witnesses, when it comes to this life, when it comes to this thing. God is good.
Isn't he?
Sister Bridget, he good.
He good.
And it's like, that's why I don't mind the rejection. I don't mind the being set aside. I don't mind it. I don't mind waiting. It's not always easy, but I love God. And if I can tell anybody, what was the initial question was about the poets. I'm sorry, I don't went all off. But yes, but just keep God as your focus, poets. If you want to be, poets and everything like that, spoken word artists, you can do anything your mind sets to do because God is your God. And he don't limit us, He's limitless. So, just honestly keep him first. So,
okay. No, and you did answer the question. Yeah, you did a little extra with that, but that was fine. And I'm over here and I'm smiling. I was chuckling as you were laughing. I mean, I'm laughing as you were talking, only because you were sounding like your grandmother.
Oh.
I just heard Mother Callie Mae all in everything you were saying, and I was like, wow, So you just grabbed hold of, what she taught, not only what she taught, but what she lived, how she lived. And I'm just going to throw this in here. I was talking to my older sister on this morning. She was actually asking about the Riddle family, and she said, "Man, I miss Mother Riddle." I said, I do too.
She was a woman. Oh, I can't.
Yes. And I can see that, the same as the words say, that was in your grandmother. Yeah. I see it in you. I see it in you.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing.
Thank God.
It's a blessing. You grabbed hold of that. You grabbed hold of it. And we're grateful for even the prayers and how they carried us, how they taught us, but yeah, I just heard her. But another thing I was hearing, let me read this comment. I know Brandy said way too much wisdom for her years. Preach on. Yeah. That also,
thank you.
That also attests to her grandmother too, for putting that, instilling that in her. Yeah. But, I had asked you that question about if anybody, how would you advise them basically if they were interested in that? And your response was for them to seek God. You know what? I don't know if there's anything to this or not, but I can see you, Anita, teaching. I can see you instructing, maybe setting up something where you can kind of nurture, individuals who would be interested in spoken word artistry, if you will. Just what you just talked about, how you said that you would address them. I could see you doing that, but I can see it kind of on a bigger scale. As you were talking, I was saying, I'm not a prophetess. I'm not saying that, but I can see that. I can, because you have so much to give. You have a lot to give. So much has been deposited into you that I know that with that deposit and that big heart of yours, because you have a huge heart for God's people, I can see you helping individuals in that respect. So pray about it, keep your mind open to it, and see what the Lord, tell you to do. But yeah, I can see that, and I believe people would benefit from it. I really do. I really do.
Amen. Yeah. I'm open. I'm open to what he says, and I thank you for interjecting that in me and putting that, thought in my head, and because we don't know where God will take us. Yeah, but it's just always good to have that listening ear to hear and those feet to move, into the direction of purpose. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And something like this in this day and time that we're in, especially we've have been encountering even over these past almost 2 years, even with this pandemic. Many of us, I wasn't born back years ago where they had other pandemics, but this is something new to us. And then, for us to be involved in this, I say this all the time, you take it back to last year where you were remanded, or if you however you want to say it, to your homes. You couldn't come out. You had to quarantine, this, that, and the other. A lot of people couldn't handle that.
Right. Yeah.
Mentally. Yeah. Some people were used to being on the go. Some people were used to just doing whatever and not having, someone from the top down saying, no, you can't do this now because you're going to subject yourself and others, or you may catch this, you may catch that. Yeah. And some people have had a hard time with this. So this is another wonderful outlet. Spoken word, penning, what's on your heart and your mind. This is another wonderful outlet, to help deal with situations and stuff. So this is a beautiful time. And again, I'm so glad that you have your book out now. I believe God has it for such a time as this. I really do. Yeah. I really do. We must travel, guys. Look that up. And look in the comment section, because I put Amazon and Target and Barnes and Noble. If you want to book her, go to her Facebook page. It's in the comment section. I don't know if I pinned it. I should have pinned it so you guys can make sure you get to it real quick. But we want you to make sure that you contact this young lady. I'm telling you, you just won't be disappointed. Now, on your Facebook page where they can book you, they can also, are there links to get to your book as well, to order it, or?
Yeah, throughout the page, I did provide the link. And in the bio portion of the page, you will see the Amazon link as well. So you can go to it through there. And again, I will post it even after this show again to get the people, make them aware of where it is and everything like that. So yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes people have short attention spans, and I want them to be able to make sure they get directly to, one central location where they can get your book and be able to book you, as well. So you guys, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to actually set up our spoken word that was penned by Elder Kevin McGee. You all know that Elder Kevin McGee has a show at Intellectual Radio as well, entitled Connections, on Saturdays at 12 noon. So make sure you guys follow him, support him as well. I did ask him, he's been, real busy, life, COVID, work, whatever, but I asked him about doing one on today. He said, oh yes, I can do one on the spoken word, because he can relate to that. So I want to play this on today. You guys take a listen and let me know what you think.
Echoes from the MIC is what I hear as I stand over the precipice of poetry's abyss, where prolific and profound poets abide, challenging the minds of those who hear their words, take it to the next dimension, and captivate with poetic dissertations. Hear the beat of many drums as poets hum over the MIC. Change your way of thinking. Come from your comfort zone. I sit as I hear emanations ascending from the crevices of poetry's belly, mystifying my mind. Sound of past, present, future coming together. Echoes permeating my mental as I hear the flow of those who came before. Langston Hughes, Gwendolyn Brooks, Phyllis Wheatley, George Moses Horton, James Weldon Johnson, Nikki Giovanni, Calvin Forbes, Paul Lawrence Dunbar, County Cullen, Margaret Burroughs, Marie Evans, and others who merged the psyche with poetry, forming a poeticology, filling my mind with words and discourses that transforms my thoughts and my thinkings from mortal to immortality as I feed off the words of life eternal, words that shall forever echo from the MIC.
Wow. That was hot. That was pretty dope. I like that.
Yeah.
That was good, Mr. McGee. I like that. That's smooth.
Yes, that was sweet. I love how he flows. I love how you flow. It just comes out, and I mean, and that's how you were. I could just give you a topic and you just flow, and I'd be like, wow. That's like really cool, you know. And you know, he does the same thing. So I'm appreciative. Brandy said on here, one lyrical great honoring another. Beautiful. Yeah.
I love it.
I would agree with that. Yeah, this is some good stuff. Thank you again. I don't know if you're still on watching Elder McGee. I know you're probably at work, but thank you again for pinning that. And
amazing, yeah.
Reciting it. I don't know how you guys say it. Do you do open mics?
I've done open mics at the Promontory and Hyde Park over there. I did different venues. That was the Harold Washington Cultural Center at the time. Different places. I've been to the Alhambra Palace, where there was AKA had a Rebirth of Chicago Artistry event, and I was one of the featured artists over there. And different kind of things present themselves, and I'll try to make my way, you know, praying over it if it's God's will for me to go. But yeah, I do spoken word. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What does the psychology of spoken word do for Anita?
Well, the psychology of spoken word, it gauges my intellect. It gauges my most heartfelt times where I want to retain. And oftentimes when you write something down, you got it. You always got it. So it helps me in life to go back and reflect so that you can, you know, continue on, basically. So it can be counseling. You know, it could be the counselor, it could be the upbuilder, the motivator, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of, like I said, that umbrella, that spoken word poetic umbrella, it's so much that goes up under it. And that's just like a few things that it does for me. Yeah. And actually, it also draws me back to God. Like when I've found sometimes when you may be in a place where you need to pray more, you need to do this, you kind of, let me write out my heart to him so that I can get right back in, you know, God he's amazing. He's something.
I love that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is there a secret to writing poetry or spoken word? I think I know what you're going to say, but is there a secret?
Well, I can't see. It's him. I mean,
I knew you were going to say that.
Being real, honestly, I'll say this. Not trying to mask what we are feeling and what we are going through in our thoughts. The secret to poetry for me is the confidence of being able to speak what is internally you're affected by. Because we're in innate human nature, we are affected by the same things. And the reason that it has such a receptive atmosphere is because people can relate to what you're saying when you're being real. So being real, just being real with yourself, having that confidence to project what, you feel and what brings you out. So that's it for me. Yeah.
That was perfect. I like that.
Praise God.
Transparency would be the secret.
Yes, absolutely.
Being real.
Yeah.
And I think that is a secret that we can take, or a tip that we can take in whatever we do in our lives, whether it's spoken word or what have you, being transparent. And,
absolutely.
I think when we're transparent enough, we're allowing God to be able to work. I always say the quickest way to get help is to admit you need it. So
yes.
Being transparent is definitely going to be key. My goodness, this has been tremendous on today. I'm trying to make sure I'm going over my notes. I had so much more, but I do want to encourage you guys to make sure that you purchase her book. Make sure you go to her Facebook page if you want to book her. We Must Travel. I mean, it's simple. It's a simple yet profound title of a book. We must travel. We must travel through this life. We must travel through whatever we're dealing with, our tests, our trials, our temptation. We must travel. I mean, what else you gonna do if you don't travel? What you gonna do? I don't know, but we want to encourage you to travel. But she says, seek God. Brandy says, this young lady is exceptional. Thanks for sharing her with us. I agree. You got a huge cheerleader in Brandy today.
Oh no, we're gonna have to be friends.
Right. And I believe you have a huge cheerleader in Beatrice too. I know she's working today, so she was kind of going back and forth. But Beatrice just she loves her some you.
She is so profound. I love her voice. You guys are on the same aura for me. It's just like, it's like, how you just connect with certain people? Yeah. It's just like that. Yeah.
Beatrice and Brandy, those are my two huge supporters there. They're really sweethearts of individuals. And, when I bring people on, if anybody gonna make them feel comfortable and get caught in the net, they will.
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that. It makes it easier. It does.
Yeah. It does. Okay. It really does. It really does. It's a lot to get up here and to host or whatever, but it's, when you have people that are in your corner that help along with that makes a huge difference. I wanted to read this before we leave on today. Let me see. I did mention this term earlier, psycholinguistics, or the psychology of language, is the study of the interrelation between linguistic factors and psychological aspects. The discipline is mainly concerned with the mechanisms by which language is processed and represented in the mind and brain. That is the psychological and neurobiological factors that enable humans to acquire, use, comprehend, and produce language. So I just wanted to read that on today because, I think it's important to kind of understand where things originate, where it come from. When you're talking about the psychology of language, that is very important. It is that particular study and that discipline. You all should know this. I always say everything starts in the mind. It does indeed. And where it goes from there is something different. That's why we had to make sure that we are putting the right things in our minds and dwelling on the right things. For sure. Well, Anita, again, I want to thank you for taking time out with us on today of your schedule, for sharing with us, for being here with us. I see you, Beatrice. What'd she say here? Anita, I love you too, precious one. You are a jewel.
Oh, thank you.
I can't wait to meet you.
Yeah, we have to say something that I love you too.
Yeah. You know what? You can feel genuine love too. I think I mentioned earlier about how sometimes you interact with people on Facebook, and sometimes you think you know them, because you ain't never really met them, but you know how comfortable they made you feel.
Yeah,
and that's a good thing right there. Let's see. Buddy Gill says, another great session of MBS. I have enjoyed Miss Anita Riddle. May God's favor be upon her. Thanks for the presentation, Annette. Thank you, buddy. He's another big supporter as well. I don't ever want to take anybody's presence for granted. As I jokingly said at the beginning, y'all can have me talking to myself every week, but you all come in and you appreciate what I try to present with my guests. And I just thank you so much. So I'm going to get out of here. Y'all heard my jingle. I'm going to play it again. I don't know if y'all did hear it, and I hope y'all did. But I'm going to play it so that we can get out of here. Wait, let me see, make sure this thing is acting right. You know how stuff is. You know what I'm saying? What's going on here? What's really going on? Yeah. I don't know if it's going to let me share it or not. But guys, go to my website. Please make sure you do that. And Get Caught in a Net Radio. You will see and hear the different events that I have coming up. I did a wonderful event a couple of weeks ago, hosting 10 plus anniversary for New Salem Missionary Baptist Church in Indianapolis. Oh, wow. So I had to travel. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful time that we had, and celebrating the wonderful Dr. Woodard and Lady Beverly Woodard. It was a wonderful time. So I said all that to say that I do have that on my website, and we have another one coming up now it's April, I think it is. Tilted Room Productions. Yeah, make sure I got that right. Just go to my website, guys. I'm just going to play this because it won't let me show anything. But guys, thank you so much. We will see you. We will see you next week. Next Tuesday, guys, is another special segment of Mind, Body, and Soul. Tuesday at 7:00 p.m. I need to make sure that you guys stick with me, okay? We're going to be talking about the psychology of social media, or the psychology behind social media. And after that big old outage that we just had the other day, I think it's something we need to talk about. We already had this scheduled, but then the outage the other day was quite interesting. The timing of it was quite interesting. But please make sure. So not next Wednesday, guys, next Tuesday, which will be the 12th of October, 7:00 p.m. We're going to do an evening session. I have my guests, Angie Mims and Demetra Williams-Pitts, very intelligent women that I'm going to have on engaging in this conversation with me. So I'm going to get out of here, guys. So thank you all so much for joining me. I always tell you at the end of every broadcast, make sure you guys wash your hands, wash them 20 seconds, sing happy birthday twice, do whatever you need to make sure you wash. Please wash your hands. Wear your mask. I don't care if you're vaccinated or not. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. Stay safe. Physical distancing. Do what you need to do. We want you safe. We want you healthy. Okay. We want to. I'm praying every day that the Lord would eradicate this COVID. But so hopefully you're praying the same thing. But please be safe out there, guys. We will see you soon. Take care of yourselves and peace.